الصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين، واللعنة الدائمة الأبدية على أعدائهم أجمعين إلى قيام يوم الدين. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. السلام عليكم my beloved ones ورحمة الله وبركاته. So we did the question number 15. Yes, question number 15 we did, and that was about a woman. Um she might have needed help, so this guy says, I took the woman uh, and helped her performing the sa'i from the top floor. After the Hajj and returning to the hometown, okay, uh, it was realized that it is not sufficient, okay, to perform the sa'i from the top floor. And then the woman died. So is there anything upon me as an obligation towards her? Because I was the one who messed up with her sa'i. I took her up, and I don't know, maybe she got the shock and awe about this. Oh no, my Hajj, and she died. Um, I think he needs to pay the diya of killing her. No, I'm just anyhow, whatever reason she died. So therefore, he says, is there anything upon me? No, because الظاهر أنه لا شيء عليك. There's nothing upon you. You don't have to do anything. It's not any. There's no obligation upon you. Now, maybe if upon you there's no obligation, uh, maybe the heirs or the descendants of this lady, or those who are like guardians of this lady, or those, will there be any obligation or not upon them? Let's see. Maybe this ruling will pop up. It's not a practical ruling, but rare cases happen. So the question, I feel that if the question was like, is there anything upon me or upon her inheritors, or those who are her those who are going to receive her? I mean, the obligation is always upon the elder son, but then she's not even on on his father, but that the mother is not even included in those kind of areas of obligation. Um, yes, الظاهر أنه لا شيء عليك. Apparently, there's nothing upon you. Is there anything upon the inheritors in order to help her out in her fulfilling her Hajj? And the other thing is, if there was a problem upon this lady, yes, she died, okay. But was the Hajj obligatory Hajj? That means her inheritors may need to fulfill it, or no, it is okay. She died, then there's nothing upon her, no wajib upon her, so there's no need to do anything upon her. But then, so those wajibat which the deceased inheritors, they have to fulfill them. These are like specific narrations. They mention these kind of obligations. So maybe there is no specific narration mentioning in this case, because if somebody misses something, it's done. So qada requires extra evidence, like in ilm al-usul, we study this, that the qada needs an independent evidence. So there might not be any independent evidence for this case, for this scenario. Anyhow, so the answer does not indicate that, and it's not available in the text. So if such kind of scenario pops up, God forbid, to someone, then they can always refer to seek a special answer from the office of Ayatollah Sistani Damadullah, or let's see, we still have a lots of rulings of Sa'i to cover, so we might encounter somebody asking this question about a woman died and her Sa'i was invalid. So or something like that. So let's see. Uh, hmm, Excuse me. Question number 16. If a woman, in her period, monthly period, after she delegated an agent to perform her tawaf and her salat, and she was going to perform the sa'i. Okay, so she delegated an agent to do the tawaf and the salat, and then she was going to perform the sa'i. But we did similar question. But going to the area of Safa Marwa, he says this year, because the renovations and modifications have happened a lot. So now there's a pathway to go to the Sa'i area, which goes through Masjid al-Haram. And so that's the question here being asked, that however, to reach to the place of Sa'i between Safa and Marwa this year is only limited to crossing an area which is part of Masjid al-Haram. From that, she can get on a staircase to the place of Safa and Marwa. So that means she cannot enter a Masjid al-Haram with that situation. Okay. And to reach that area, it is not possible as well in that, because she's going to go inside Masjid al-Haram. So what should she do? Is she obligated? Is she required to delegate an agent for sa'i as well, or or excuse me, or it is permissible for her to go to pass over that area, which is going to be going through Masjid al-Haram? The answer: she must delegate an agent, for she cannot pass uh, in areas that are considered parts of Masjid al-Haram, even if it was renovated. Remember the concept of Sayyidi Sistani, Damadullah, whatever is renovated, khalas, that's orphan, that's the part of Masjid al-Haram. Even the original Masjid al-Haram was not that part. So it is, even if it was renovated area, the new area, not not renovated, even if it was an extension, contemporary extension, made contemporary extended areas, that's also not permissible for her to go through. So therefore, yes, she will appoint an agent, delegate an agent. Okay. Question number 17. If it was not permissible for her to pass through that area, because the idea is Safa and Marwa doesn't require any purification from the physical or metaphysical defilement, let alone clothing. Clothing is not required, but because we said it's in public, then it's wajib. So I mean, that was meaning if accidental whoopsie daisies happen. So anyhow, The idea here is that uh, people they know, but nowadays many times they close these small gates and they channel the people through a specific area. Now, for women, because for women they are allowed on the ground floor, but men they have to be in the ihram or dummy ihram to be on the ground floor. So what happens that um, that guy, he was not wearing ihram and he was escorting his wife. So then he was told, no, you cannot go inside from here. You have to come from that side, which is the part which will take you through Masjid al-Haram. So so there are time, but nowadays even the pathway coming out of Masjid al-Haram, they've made a straightforward pathway directly. So people they don't get lost. It's a good nice thing they have done. Like they've managed the whole route of Umrah. You know, like those games, you treasure hunt games, you play, enter here and then go here, and there's a route made for you. So before it was just people could enter from any gate, from any, especially those who are performing Umrah, and they would get lost inside Masjid al-Haram. So now the pathways to perform Umrah going around the Kaaba, they're very clear cut and easy. Uh, and only men who are in the state of Ihram or wearing Ihram can go that area. But women, they can go from any area they can come. So therefore, if the route to go to the area of Sa'i between Safa and Marwa was only restricted to the area of going through or passing through Masjid al-Haram, then what will happen if she was unaware? This question number 17, it says that if it was not permissible for her to pass through her, so is it obligatory required to guide her if she was unaware about it? He says yes, if she was unaware about the ruling, then it is, she doesn't know the ruling that she cannot go through Masjid Haram with that state of period. Yeah, yeah, you guide them, but there are two things: unaware of the ruling about passing through Masjid Haram, unaware about this passage made, is it part of Masjid Haram or not? So she doesn't know that the people they come, they go to the sa'i without going to the platform of tawaf, and the gate takes them all the way to the sa'i area. Now that sa'i area, okay, which the gate takes them to, goes through the Masjid Haram. And this newly made route, many they don't know, not forget women, many men they don't know. So excuse me. So if she was not aware about the ruling, guide her. If she's not aware about that that route passes through Masjid Haram to Safa and Marwa or not, then you don't have to tell her about that. So that kind of ignorance is pardoned upon her, because she doesn't know, is this route part of Masjid Haram or not. It's too technical thing. Even men standing there, they can't tell you, because this is something which is considered mawdu', an area where the rule is applied. So we have mawdu', okay, and we have hukum. So hukum is one should not pass through Masjid Haram. But is this Masjid Haram or not? That is mawdu' on which the ruling applies. So if she was unaware about the hukum, guide her. If she's unaware about the mawdu', is this part Masjid Haram? Is this not? It's too technical thing. Rules, yeah, they have to learn the rules. The rules are there all over. But those technical things, scholars of Urf also, sometimes they disagree. Like, for example, when we go to the Jamarat, before, once upon a time, it was one pillar. Then Shaitan got promoted. So now it's a big wall. So now this big wall, okay, is it part? Is it sufficient to pelt the shaitan? Some scholars they say orphan now it is if you don't know where exact location is, where the exact pillar was, then you can pelt wherever you feel that this may. We are going to take these rules inshallah in detail. The bottom line is the scholars they disagreed. Not the Maraja. The Maraja they gave fatwa if you know where the original pillar is. So some shiukhs were used to going there. They said that this right area, a bit this beside this, that is where. Others they say no, it is in the middle. Third this that. So now this even the mawdu' itself, the where the rules should be applied, that is also debated. So in that case, there's too much technical thing, and Allah does not put too much burden, put more burden on the layman beyond their capacity. Okay, so if you don't know where exactly the shaitan's pelting stone is, so when they make these kind of extensions and to reduce the problems happening in Hajj, to manage the Hajj properly, safely. There's a lot of safety taken into consideration as well, except for the Hajar al Aswad zone. I don't know when will that area be be safe. So a lot of safety is taken into consideration. So basically, that area, so this she doesn't know that when I'm going to the Mas'ah, okay, is this a place which is part of Masjid Haram or not? Because some madhahib they might say it is okay to pass, because in school of Ahlul Bayt, majority of the scholars they say you cannot enter the masjid, any masjid, but you can pass through the masjid if you are in a state of sexual defilement or monthly period. You can pass through. Okay, so here in this case, uh, passing through, no, Masjid al-Haram, you cannot even pass through. Like they say in normal masajid, you can enter from one gate and exit from another gate. So, but don't stay there. So, can that rule be applied here? No. But maybe the madhahib who are responsible for their and made this extension, they might have no problem if a woman passes through that Masjid al-Haram and reaches the part of Sa'i between Safa and Marwa. So because that's why people might think, oh, this is Muslims and mashallah, they don't know that there are differences in the madhahib fatwas. So many people they might think, okay, it is not allowed. So when they made this pathway to Safa and Marwa, it must have been away from Masjid al-Haram. So this mindset sometimes it's kind of ignorance, you see. Uh, so those the expert shuyukhs they are there, they will tell you no, this Masjid al-Haram. Okay, so yeah, so so the answer is if she was unaware about the ruling, then it is obligatory to inform her, guide her. And if she was unaware about the specifics, okay, about the place, is this uh, pathway or crossover part of Masjid Haram or not, then you don't have to inform her. That means you know, but she doesn't know. She knows the ruling, but she doesn't know that this is Masjid al-Haram or not. Question number 8. Is it permissible to refer to another marja in this ruling who allows to perform the sa'i in the newly area, uh, newly extended area? Okay, newly extended area means Broadway, because remember the sa'i between Safa and Marwa got extended from the right hand side if you stand on Safa going to Marwa. That is where it was not part of this mas'ah. So the whole idea is between the mountains, between two mountains. And I mentioned that Sayyidi Sistani makes that maneuver thing. Okay. So yeah, like while you start, you give the back to the mountain, and then you carry on, and then you curve yourself back towards the Mount of Marwa. So the question is, can because some other Maraja, some of them, they said it's okay to do that. So can we refer to other marja in this ruling and just do sa'i normally between from Safa to Marwa? That's the route where people, they have problem because it's a newly extended route. So let's see. It is not permissible. Okay. Um, yeah. Um, لا يجوز, because it's a fatwa. In fatwa, you cannot refer to another marja. It's احتياط واجب. Okay. لا يجوز ذلك. If it is not permissible to refer to another marja. Um, so it says it is not permissible to refer to other marja if he had depended on a practical principle, that because practical usul amaliya. And if you study Hausa, if you study ilm al-usul, there's evidence, they give you a precise answer. If there's no evidence, you have doubt, then the practical principles they apply upon. So there are several practical principles. So Sayyidi Sistani Damadullah does not apply any practical principle because it is the thing is that it needs to be tawaf bayna, the text, the religious text has mentioned between Safa and Marwa, and the extended part is not considered in the eyes of Sayyidi Sistani and in his methodology to be between Safa and Marwa. It is between air and air. Okay, between wall of extended wall of Safa and extended wall. So this extra area which is not. Let me just remind you with an image of that because it's nice always to Safa and Marwa, and these are the images. Yeah, there you go. So this is a good one. Subhanallah. I found an image. It reminded me about once upon a time. So so once upon a time, the Safa looked like this, where you'll see people on the top. Okay. So we will go like that all the way on the top and sit and do the amal, and some will sit here from our group. So, and this is how so now you saw it all fenced with the glass fence. So this is something which is a memorial thing. Uh, And then this is the Safa and Marwa, which I mentioned, the extended. And let me show you the Marwa also, how it looks like from the normal floor. So from not from the basement. I showed you an image about the basement. It was, but this is on the ground floor above the basement. Above the basement, Marwa looks like this. It's flat on the ground. It little bit protrusions here and there, but mostly it's just like people they sit on it and stand on it nowadays as well. There's no fence here. So basically, if you arrive here and go back, it's fine. But yeah, I mean, we like to put our foot on it, but you don't have to put your foot on it. Okay. So basically, what normally, and it's a sorry, what happened? Normally, it's a very narrowed area. So what happens that we are coming from here. So basically, if you can see this red, we're coming from here. So we need to start moving like this. So what happens now? Marwa is in front of us. And remember that maneuver thing we mentioned? Wait, what happened? Yeah. So we're coming like this. And then we go back. Like so many times we go on here and come back. And sometimes before Salat, they just put a fence here, temporary. So you don't have to come all the way top. But yes, your Marwa, if you come straight, then do like this, that's going to be problematic. So remember that maneuver thing. Let me remind you. So basically, this is Marwa and this is Safa. And so this is the original Safa and Marwa. And this was the area of wheelchairers. So we used to go like this and come back like this. Now, when this extension happened, this wall was removed, and this middle wall became where the wall of the Masjid al-Haram was. So this became the middle wheelchair area, and this whole area became the path to go from Safa to Marwa. Okay, so now to say this Sistani, this is not like there's no Marwa here, there's no Safa here. So that's why he says when you come here, like let's say Safa is until here, the middle wall is included in Safa. So when you come here and let's make another color so that you can understand. So you are coming here, coming here, coming here, and then you make a U-turn. When you make a U-turn, do like this. That Safa is on your back. Then you go straight. When you're coming to Marwa, do like this. So this like maneuvering yourself in a curve. That is what Sayyidi Sistan says. If you do like that, then you're going in the position of Marwa. What I showed you, this platform is located here in this area. Okay. Um, so once you arrive here, you go like that. So what normally we do, we pass over sides of it. Okay, just to have it minan. But you can come like this also. You don't have to go all the way because this is all slided area. This is all slided area. But here definitely there's no marwa underneath. But yes, here we saw in the image that a big significant part of marwa is down. So therefore, if you just take a turn, you are still on marwa, and you come like that. But the main thing is this this area, the Safa and Marwa. This is Safa and this is Marwa. Okay. So this curve. Now, some ulamas, they say once upon a time, these were big mountains, Safa and Marwa. Okay. And then due to the building of the houses around Safa and Marwa, they started chipping off and chipping off and chipping off the upper portion. So still down, you see it spreaded. Okay. But still Marwa, if you see down spread, it will not go all the way till here. And Safa also, if you go down, it's not all the way to the edge of the new wall of new wall of the Masjid Haram of Safa and Marwa, because this part is not Masjid Haram, but this wall is like the edge of. So the wall was shifted further right if you're standing on Safa. So that's the whole issue here about Sa'i, and it is rukn, it is pillar of Hajj. So that's where the whole issue comes in, that uh, like they people don't want to compromise with the pillar of Hajj. And let me also show you a final image so that the idea is synced properly. Yeah, this one. One more, and so that we can, when we explain, the picture is in your mind. Yeah. Obviously, this image is wrong. The one who has made this image made a mistake. So basically, this is Hajj al-Aswad, but Safa faces the Hajj al-Aswad. Whoops. Yeah, no wonder Wikipedia. Okay. So, yeah. So this I'll fix the image. So basically, this is not right. Here we have like uh, the this is not right. So this is the Hajj al-Aswad, because Hajj al-Aswad faces the Safa and Marwa. Okay. So here it's Maqam Ibrahim. I told you that they made a route. So once you pray Maqam Ibrahim here, Salat, they take you all the way to the route and you arrive to Safa, straightforward. So that means people might have to pass through Masjid al-Haram to come to this area which takes you in. Before, you could enter from here, you could enter from here. There are so many entrances. But to regulate, now you have like very few entrances. And this is main entrance for those people who are performing Umrah. So now what happened here, that this area was extended. So, and this area became, this old wall became the middle area where the wheelchairers, they do. So when you come here, you come like this. Okay. So this is, you're coming, you come like this, and just don't take a straight, keep going like this, because giving your back to the Safa and front to, yeah, back to the Safa. So like you're going, giving your back, then you come here, and then once you see the start doing like this. So you're giving your front to the Marwa. It's not difficult. Some people say, oh, it's complicated. That's easy. I mean, when you're driving a car, you do a lot of detours and maneuvers. So this is considered a detour technically. So now you did the walk between Safa and Marwa. Because here there's no Safa. If you start your walk like this and you come here, there's no Marwa. Marwa is here. So you take a detour. So you start from Safa like this. So, and you end up in Marwa like this. So you did walk between Safa and Marwa, and we said that you don't have to take a straight path to Safa and Marwa. You can make curves and this and that. So this is, as long as you are not giving your uh, face to Marwa, I mean back to Marwa when you are going to Marwa, or back to Safa when we are going to Safa. Then you're facing it. A little bit here and there, we said it's okay, but not total, like walking in reverse. That's not allowed. But making these kind of things are permissible. You can walk a wiggly line. He said you don't have to walk straight. So you can go like this and come like this. So this is what is important now for many Hujjaj, followers of Sayyidi Sistani Damadullah and few other Maraja, to do this kind of maneuver, so that you know that you have performed the sa'i properly. Okay, let me come back to. So this is the. So can we refer to another marja? The questioner asks. Um, in performing the sa'i in the extended area between like on the right side, if you stand on Safa in the newly extended area of sa'i, he says no, it is not permissible. See, because of marja can depend on a narration, and the narration could be authentic and non-authentic between the fuqaha. This somehow scholars they compromise here. Okay, if that marja considers this narration authentic, for me I have a problem. So this marja will give ihtiyat wajib. You can refer to that marja, because I'm not sure that the authentic is clear, or the authentic is this narration is clear, or the narration is authentic. So they allow you to go to another marja, because that marja's base is same narration, but for that marja is satisfied that the narration is authentic, content wise or link wise. So this is something which other maraja they allow. And even if there was no ihtiyat wajib, sometimes in extreme circumstances they would allow. So he says that it is not permissible if the fatwa, okay, of that marja was depending on asl amali, on a practical principle applied and not a religious evidence. Okay. Um, as he said, as as some of the scholars they have given the ruling based on practical responsible practical principle. This what practical principle Sayyidi Sistani uses here. We'll discuss this in Ilm al-Usul. Okay, so therefore, if that marja has used practical principle upon this, as some of them they have done, some of the scholars, then it is not permissible. That means if he had evidence, Sayyidi Sistani would have given ihtiyat wajib, obligatory precaution. But Sayyidi Sistani did not find any evidence. So that means there is certain practical principle used for that, or certain intellectual conclusion. But if it was evidence, then Sayyid would have given ihtiyat wajib. But he has not given. So therefore, this marja does not have any evidence, because marja goes through all the evidences about the Islamic law, the ayat, the hadith, and then they use logical methodology, and then they use, if there's no evidence at all, they use practical principles. وأما في فرض اطمئنانه, however, if it was an application of ruling of Safa and Marwa. So what is the ruling of Safa and Marwa? It should be between Safa and Marwa. As I said, some scholars they went into these evidences and they found out that historical evidences, because Maraja they're not sitting in Najaf doing nothing. No, they have scholars, very closely scholars like Sheikh Ali Dehneem, Sayyid Munir Khabbaz, and those are living in Saudi. They lived all their life. Every year, Umrah, Hajj is like it was their life. and they have access to the libraries, historical libraries of Makkah and Medina. They can easily go there, they can easily ask the researchers around them. So Sayyid Sistani is interconnected with all these web or network. They can try to find out anything. So some of the scholars, they say we found some historical texts, and that Safa and Marwa were bigger than this, and they were chipped off. Okay, but say the Sistani did not get satisfaction from those historical evidences. Okay, who wrote that historical evidences? What was that? It all depends on the satisfaction of marja. It's not like that if you want to eat a barbecued meat and you don't know that meat is halal al haram or something like that, and if the Muslim gives you and you don't have satisfaction, you don't eat. But no, I'm satisfied because the smell is amazing, the grill. If that's the base of your satisfaction, then you and your satisfaction, it has to be intellectual satisfaction. So that means when evidences are presented to the marja, they have to use a lot of critical thinking and question these evidences. Okay, so at the end they will say, I'm not satisfied, but you, oh, the one who follows me, if you are satisfied with these evidences, it's your responsibility. It's an application. My rule is, if you are satisfied, if the portion, which now the new portion is from Safa and Marwa, then it is permissible. If it is not, not. This is my ruling. For me, I'm not satisfied with some of the evidences which were presented to me. However, if you are satisfied, then Bismillah. Okay. So that's why there's a whole lecture on Sheikh Ali Dehneem. Dehneem is representative from in eastern province of Saudi, yeah? And he's a mujtahid by himself, mashallah. So he was my teacher as well. So he explains this whole Safa and Marwa thing, that sa'i. So say the Sistani is not satisfied, but if you are satisfied, Bismillah, because this is an application area where you have the say in it. Okay, you can either be satisfied with this historical thing, or you don't have to be satisfied. So this say, you have the say in it. So he says that, say this Sistani says here, however, if he used practical principle, which is the area of ijtihad, area of ruling, okay, then it is not permissible, because I did not find any evidence allowing me to do, neither an evidence nor any principle which gives permissibility to allow to do the sa'i in that area. Okay, just sa'i and normal, like starting, like giving your front, and but he said no, you have to curve in a way that you give your back to sa'i. So this, yes, allowed in the new area. But normal sa'i, like people, they go make a U-turn and start going to the Marwa, that is where the problem is, as I showed you in the illustration. So, however, if if he was satisfied that the new area is between two mountains due to the historical evidences, and then the other marja, if other marja was satisfied with those historical evidences presented to him, and the mukallaf, the follow my follower, responsible person, the one who follows me, okay, and if the responsible person was satisfied with his satisfaction, then there's no problem. So the whole idea is, say the Sistan is questioning his base of permissibility to perform the sa'i straightforward from Safa to Marwa without doing this curve. Is it this permissibility is based on ijtihadi aspect or mawdu application aspect? Okay, if it's ijtihadi aspect, there are no evidences. Practical principles, there's no practical principles supporting the permissibility of doing the Safa and Marwa there. On the contrary, practical principles are against that extra area. So this area, I, as a fatwa, no, as an application of my fatwa, you want to depend on that marja who says that I'm satisfied on the historical evidences provided to me that no, Safa and Marwa was bigger, got chipped off and something like that. And then then in that case, it is permissible to do, if you are satisfied with this satisfaction, that there is no problem. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to jump to question 21 because it is linked with what we explained now. So this was 18 about the satisfaction. Then I'll come back to 19 and 20. So question 21 says, we heard that His Excellence Sayyidi Sistani Damodullah does not is hesitant in giving the permissibility to perform the sa'i in the newly extended area, in which a person cannot refer to another marja. So is this ruling absolute in every case, or no, there is some way a person can perform the sa'i? He says, yes, if you just depend on only on the new area as your sa'i. As I mentioned, you give the back to the wall, not to the sa'i. You go straight all the way and you face the wall and not marwa. So if this was the case, okay, then it is not permissible to he says, yeah, uh, what is he says what is not permissible is to refer to someone else, okay, in the sa'i, starting from the newly extended area and ending to it, like on the marwa side. However, he says, whoever has satisfaction, and this is updated version, by the way. Before it was not, because this has gone through lots of like back and forth with evidences and this and that, and ulamas, once this was extended, it was serious problem. But now I'm seeing in the fatwa of Sayyid Sistani some kind of room to refer to someone else on the application of the fatwa, okay, not on the basis of ijtihad. No, his fatwa is one, but other marja consider this between two mountains. That's fine. So he says, yes, if my follower, is satisfied, okay, you don't have to follow that other marja. You did your own investigation. You went to the research libraries, historical libraries. You found out that the historical evidences indicated, not from one historian, several historians, they indicated the same thing. And these were proper sources which gave you satisfaction. He says, that's fine. If you're satisfied, it's between two mountains. Even by referring to some other maraja. So you are not referring in your taqleed, the way you do in ihtiyat wajib. You are referring in application, even by referring to other maraja, that the new area is between the two mountains without any doubt. Without any doubt. That means your satisfaction needs to be concrete, because he is not strongly satisfied with these evidences. However, he says, if he is not satisfied with his own investigation, or the investigation of that other marja, because some scholars of Eastern Province, they found out some of these historical documents were not so strongly authentic. Okay, the source were not reliable. So therefore, Sayyid Sistani Damodullah has a problem with that. But so now he says, the ball is in your court. You are satisfied, or that marja is satisfied. Then you apply my ruling based on the satisfaction, your personal satisfaction, historical research satisfaction, or the or the geological thing, or whatever areas you have to go into the universities and libraries, and you do your, or that resources are given to that marja, and that marja is satisfied with those resources. Okay, so yeah, uh, who indicates, who gives you the statement or the testimony, because it's not fatwa, which if he'll tell you yes it is between the two mountains, it's not fatwa, it's not depending on the Quran and Hadith, it's the finding out the application of the fatwa. Like for example, you have a cup. I don't know, this is najis or pure. According to the fatwa, okay, you don't know it's pure. So, but someone said no, it's najis. I saw the najasat, but I don't know whether he's telling the truth or not. So if I'm not satisfied by his words, this is still pure for me. But if I'm satisfied, I should not drink this. For example, okay. So therefore, the application, like for example, moon sighting. Sometimes the Najaf is moon is sighted in Najaf, and Sayyid Sistani's office declared based on the Sayyid Sistani's direction. But then in Sweden, for example, or some places, the parameters of moon are not equal to. So they ask Sayyid Sistani, you gave, and you are our marja, you gave the declaration in Najaf. Can we apply it in Sweden? Because Sweden is all the way on the top. Yeah, the countries like Portugal and the who are in the level of Najaf, and the possibility of the moon to be there, bigger, equal to or bigger, the conditions of the moon and the parameters, then obviously you don't have to sight the moon there. If you're satisfied, that's fine. But when you go to Sweden, it's like all the way in the edge that the moon sighting possibility goes narrow, go to very like narrow, that sometimes no, the moon is sighted in Najaf, it's not sighted in Sweden, it's not even sightable in Sweden, it's not even possible scientifically, but Najaf sighted. So should we? He said no. You follow the rule, not my moon sighting. I applied my rule in Najaf. Okay, you apply my rule in your area. So you see, the application and the fatwa, fatwa, no compromise. Application, if you find out, okay, like certain games, for example, Sayyidi Sistani found out from the historical evidences, this and that, that it is made for gambling purpose. So he says you shouldn't be playing with that. But not from the hadith, not from but the evidences were presented to him. But his fatwa is general. He took an initiative to help you out, investigate, because it's a historical investigation. So people from his team, they presented him the evidence. Someone says, how if I prove that it is not proven? Present. Make your historical evidences, counter the historical evidences or the linguistic evidences or whatever evidences were referred to in applying the fatwa. Then you have your responsibility. Not because you love to play that game. No, you have to counter the findings. So here, Sayyidi Sistani is giving us an excellent example. Fatwa wise, I'm fine. There's no room, and you can't refer in fatwa to another marja if you're following me. However, application wise, for me, it's a bit shady. But if you find out that they are giving you intellectual satisfaction to do the SAEE straightforward in the new area, do it. Or if you find another marja who's satisfied by these evidences presented to him, maybe some evidences were presented to him, might not have been presented to Sayyid Sistani. So once that marja presents and shows, so if you get satisfied with this satisfaction, then there is no problem. So this is what he said here, that it is not permissible to take the fatwa of someone else just like that initially. Uh, okay. So uh, in the newly extended area. Um, so you have to investigate, not just like that. You have to find out that marja. Ask him, what was your base? Because you are here, someone who's seeking investigation. You're not following that marja. You want to see what marja is trustworthy. Okay, so he's trustworthy, he's reliable, this and that. But the problem is, it's fatwa, or it is depending on the external evidences, or mawdu, or applicational level or area. So if it is an application area, you can ask him, you can ask his students. If they give you proper evidences and you're satisfied with it, then that's fine. ولو استنادا إلى نظر بعض المراجع. Okay, even if by referring to the opinion of some of the maraja, that the extended area is between the two mountains. Okay, then there is no problem. وأما مع عدم الاطمئنان بذلك. Now let me just give you a practical principle which can be used here. Like somebody was alive. I doubt, is he still alive or dead? There's a rule we call istishab, extending the previous certainty. No, don't judge on him dead. Don't distribute his wealth. Confirm he's dead, then distribute his wealth to the inheritors. So this is like istishab, extending the previous certainty. So previously the mountain was there. It got chipped off and construction happened on this and that. So now we are doubting. So this is one of the things. If you are doubting, yaqinan, there was mountain here in the newly extended area, both sides. So now we are doubting, khalas, extend it. So this is the practical principle, istishab, that can be applied. The problem is, where do we have yaqeen that that area there was the extension of the mountain? That's where Sayyidi Sistani's problem is. These evidences are shady. If these evidences were strong for him, for Sayyidi Sistani, then yes, he can apply istishab. Others, they found out strong. It was there, so that means the area is between the mountains. But the mountain got chipped. Like Marwa, you saw it's flat on the ground. Okay. And some of these Maraja, they say you don't have to see the mountain. It's like a it potentially it was there. Okay, like they allow doing sa'i from the top floor, where you cannot see the mountain on the side. The mountain is down. So this is, if fatwa is like that, you don't have to see the mountain. Even the mountain was there, so now the mountain is not there, then you can do the sa'i in that mountain area which was before there. So it is like an imaginary mountain, imaginary extension of the location of the mountain. So Sayyidi Sistani has some problem with these findings. So this is, he said, without any doubt, if you are satisfied with the satisfaction of that marja, or maraja, he says, some of the maraja have given permissibly. However, if you are not satisfied, okay, he was not satisfied. Yes, Sayyidina, please tell us. We are somehow with your satisfaction. So tell us what. وَأَمَّا مَا عَدَمِ الْإِطْمِئْنَانِ بِذَلِكَ. If he was not able to perform the sa'i between Safa and Marwa in the old area, okay, if you're single, you may just scoop yourself in on the in the wheelchair wall, outside of the wheelchair wall, and just go. But if you have a group or you have people, and then everybody goes that way, doing like a kind of Safa and Marwa in a wrong side, that will cause serious problems. Okay. Yeah. And he said you don't have to be in straight line. So if you are going in the old area, like one of the brothers said that I'm doing in the old area, but I'm not going all the way straight line that people can see, oh, this guy. I'm just making a wiggly line because say the Sistani allows. So they don't know that I'm doing sa'i or I'm going here and there on the other side. So, but it's not. I mean, sa'i is okay, maybe perfect because it's in the original area, but doing all these kind of things, okay, might bring problems and might cause serious issues, because you're not like there are police standing there, army standing there, everything is there. So you need to be very careful about making these maneuvers. Fatwa, yes, say the Sistani says if you can do from the old area, then it will be sufficient. Okay. في الذهاب أي أن يقطع الممر القديم، يجزيه أن ينوي السعي من ابتداء الممر القديم ثم يتجه يمينا إلى الممر الجديد ويسلكه. So if you can start from the old area and then make a cut to the new area. The whole idea is your beginning. Your beginning should be, you need to give your back to Safa. So he says if he starts from the old area, beginning, and then he goes all the way on the right while he's coming down, or he comes down and crosses. But nowadays you cannot cross unless if you have passed through, because there are gaps in between the wheelchair fences. So from that gap, people sometimes they pass, but nowadays they have reduced those gaps more. Why? Those are emergency exits. If somebody gets tired, exhausted on the wheelchair, needs to get out. So very guards are standing there. So very rarely they will allow you to cross. Okay, that unless if you claim there's an emergency, you need to get out of the SAE, go that side because you have lost something, you have lost your, so then they will allow you. But just like passing through like the way it was before, it is not. So therefore, um, the new, so what he says here is that if he is not able to do sa'i, okay, but while going, the main idea is going from Safa to Marwa, uh, such as he said, um, such as going in the old area, okay, starting from the old area, then slowly coming into the right side where there is nothing behind Safa. So at least you started, you gave your back to the to Safa. ثم يتجه يمينا, then he goes all the way right because it's right off the Safa Dumira in the new area, extended area, and he goes until ويسلك إلى أن يصل إلى ابتداء الممر القديم, okay, من جهة المروة. And then he goes all the way and curves around the Marwa. He curves around where? The old area, not going straight forward. No. When he comes, like I showed you, the curve. So, جهة المروة إلى أن يصل إلى ابتداء الممر القديم من جهة المروة. Where the Marwa starts, he goes like that. فيحسب له شوط واحد. Then it will be counted as one round. And this is the way, similarly, he does in the remaining rounds when he starts from Safa to Marwa, to just start from the old area. And that is feasible. But sometimes, let's say, and this is not pictured, if they made a huge like barrier all the way till Marwa and all the way till that, you had to take a round from behind the Mount Safa to start, like you come from Marwa. Like, let me see if I can do something here. Like you have to, I think it's better just to go back to our image and see how. Okay, so this was our image. Okay, now let's make the extended area first of all. This is extended area. Let's say they closed. Let me put this in red. They closed all this area from Safa to Marwa. Okay. What does that mean? That means that when you come, let me use this one. When you're coming from Marwa, you have to go all the way behind Safa and come here. So you are not giving your back to Safa. And again, there's a straight line here. No crossing, no crossing, no crossing, no crossing. So you have to go all the way behind the Marwa and come like that. So here you have not faced Safa and Marwa. And that is not likely to happen because even the our Sunni school of thought, they just consider a U-turn like this. So if we go back to our, okay, so we remove the wall which was between. This wall is removed, okay, and this wall is where now nowadays? The wall is here, the middle wall where the wheelchairers are. So yeah, so people, they have to do U-turn. Everybody does U-turn. Your U-turn can be you come to the old area and then you come right side. Okay? So you have given your back to Safa. And then again, you come to this area, sorry, you come to this area and you take a U-turn. So you've given your front side to Safa. So this is how he explained. Another way is, remember I mentioned the passages. So let's say he's doing Marwa, Safa and Marwa like this. So there is a passage here. There is a passage here. Okay. So for example, you came all the way. Okay. You came all the way here and you come down here. Not this side, this side. Once you started your Safa here, then you can come here and then continue and then come in this passage and go to Marwa and come back. So this is what he said, that go on the right side. But as I said, these passages are closed. So this is the maneuvering now technicality, that you start from your giving your back. When you arrive, you are giving your front to Marwa. And most of people, they don't know these rulings. I'm talking about our Shias, followers of Ahlul Bayt. They are doing that, everybody is doing. And may Allah accept the amal. When I see this thing, I just ask Allah, Ya Allah, how you have kept the responsibility on our shoulders of knowing these rulings. What about these people, who come from villages? So inshallah, if you try your best and you are not jahil, muqassir, one of those unintentional ignorance, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is merciful. You are the guest of Allah. If you're there sincerely, you tried your best to know the ruling, not like that shopping guy, marketing guy. Okay, so yeah. So let's conclude this because this is very important and it affects your rukn of Arkan al-Hajj. So therefore, he says that فإن كان لا يتمكن في السعي من الصفا إلى المروة, if he was not able to do a normal method of sa'i between Safa and Marwa, such as أن يقطع الممر القديم, okay, يجزيه, so he comes from the old area and he cuts a turn. How? Such as أن ينوي السعي من ابتداء الممر القديم, he starts from the top, giving back to the uh, where the old, like people are coming, he's facing them. Okay, he goes down, then he goes right to the new. It's okay. He said, as long as you started giving your back to Safa, you're okay. ممر الجديد ويسلكه إلى أن يصل إلى ابتداء الممر القديم من جهة المروة. He goes all the way on the right side until he comes closer to the beginning of Marwa from the old area. So he goes all the way left now. Left, he goes all the way towards Marwa. So it will be considered a round, and this is what he does in every round. And if he was able to do the sa'i between, if you're able to, وأما مع التمكن. No, he says, however, if he was able to perform the sa'i in the old area, even by going wrong side من الصفا المروة, فالاجتزاء وأما مع التمكن من السعي. He says, if you were able to perform the sa'i in old pathway, okay, even by going, you are coming in the old pathway, but for going from Safa to Marwa, فالاجتزاء بالسعي, so it is not sufficient to do this maneuvering. This maneuvering, if you are not able to do sa'i wrong side, then this maneuvering is sufficient. But if you are able to do the sa'i, as I said, it's a bit complicated thing to do like that, and you have to be really blunt and really daring person to deal with the police and to deal with the guards, and not everybody is like that. So therefore, if you are not a daring person, if you are not able to, it's going to cause complications and problems to you, then just go into the route, go a little bit this and go right, and then. But if you are able to do if you're a daring person, if you're able to do in that old area wrong way, going opposite the people are coming, and you are going like on the wrong side, then this maneuvering is not going to be sufficient on the basis of obligatory precaution with Sayyid Sistani Damadullah. In that case, people can refer to someone else, another marja. Okay, so he says, من الصفا المروة, if he's able to do, وأما مع التمكن من السعي في الممر القديم, as for he's able to perform the sa'i in the old area, even by going from Safa to Marwa, then the method mentioned to do the sa'i by going left, right, and then going left in the new area is problematic to say the Sistani Mahal Ishkal. In that case, one can refer to another marja. Another follow-up question number 22. If a person depended on a marja or a trustworthy person from those who are expert in these historical things and all the things, you see, that the second floor, remember the second floor, you can't see the mountain. So if they say that no, second floor is between Safa and Marwa, okay, then can he do the sa'i on the top floor, like second floor? Like, what does he mean? It seems he means that the mountains were taller and they got chipped off. And that is too out of the, unless if a meteor came and sliced the mountain, something like that, after Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam. And but broad, yes, Makkah is all mountains. So broadness and chipping has been happening to the mountains, especially around the Haram, to build buildings and houses and those kind of things. So maybe this is the front portion of Safa, and back portion of Safa might be broader. Like for example, how can that happen? Like this is. Let me go. Where did my go? Um, these are some important things. That's why we are just um, trying to see how we can elaborate on these things. Okay. No, I think I'll just go with another image. Yeah, let me see this image. You see, like the way Marwa is down, I showed you how up it's like flat on the ground, okay? Level to the ground. But down you see Marwa, huge, okay? And it extends all the way sidewise. But Marwa in the top, you see all this area. But down, you see it extends. So it is, so some of the areas of the where you don't see Marwa on the top, it is in between Marwa. Okay. So the same goes for the Safa. Now, our this ruling, what does this ruling, which I mentioned just now, consider? Let me just get something proper. Yeah. So we come to our image of Safa and Marwa. Okay. So what happens that the possibility of this being Marwa, according to the records, this is just showing the front area of Safa and Marwa. The possibility is that Marwa might have extended like all the way, okay, all the way behind. That is possible, okay. So this was all Mount Marwa, Safa, I mean, sorry, Safa. And what happens? The houses were built and they started chipping until this area was left, which is inside this Masjid al-Haram, and all these were chipped. So if this new extended area, as some of the MARAJE, their satisfaction is very important. Satisfied, as they say, Marwa was bigger, then it is normal to do the normal sa'i. Okay. Say this Sistan is not satisfied. It's an application thing. And the same goes for what? For this Marwa. As we saw down, it's more spread. So if we take the Marwa, the same goes for Marwa. Maybe what you see is small portion of Marwa, and Marwa was like bigger, okay? And this is the new portion. So let's say Marwa was extended all the way. This was all Marwa mountain. And these low mountains, they're easily chipped to build constructions, buildings, platforms, hotels. Okay, there has been construction going on. They have been chipping off the mountains. So if that was the case, all this chipped part was chipped off, and let's say this, yeah. let's say here, and this is what came inside Masjid al-Haram. What outside was chipped and building and construction and things were happening. Anyhow, uh, even if you check the Google map, you will find the mountains are all the way surrounded Makkah. You see the pathways, and they've eliminated a lot of mountains to build lofty hotels and lofty buildings. Anyhow, so this is something which one of the possibility they mention is that Safa was more than what we see now. More than what we see now is like from behind it was brought. So if you're doing sa'i in the new area, it is between Safa and Marwa. So he says here, question number 2, if let's say if someone depends on another marja or trustworthy from expert like historians in geology, okay, geology of Makkah, historical geology of Makkah, okay. So and says that the top floor was also from the from the Safa and Marwa area, between Safa and Marwa. Will that be sufficient? The thing is that, like, it's not lofty mountain, but maybe all the way where it said behind, maybe all the way loftier than a front. All these are like front parts coming down. And so these are all possibilities. I'm trying to let you understand why some Maraja they allow and don't allow. The ruling is one sa'i between Safa and Marwa. So the real mountain is gone, the imaginary is there, or the imaginary for traces are there. He says الطابق العلوي, the top floor, is above the two mountains and not between the two mountains. And the obligation is to perform the sa'i between the two mountains. And there is no way you can refer to another marja in this issue if you are following me. Okay. So these were the two masail. Now they are short masail. I'm going to complete with it. So we said that question number 19 we stopped, okay, and we did the 21 and 22. So 19 is it permissible to keep a gap between the tawaf and the salat of tawaf? You did salat tawaf and salat tawaf, and you leave a gap, okay, between salat tawaf and the sa'i. And what was the purpose of that gap? He says to do the ihtiyat, recommended precautionary tawaf. He says it's permissible. I mean, it's permissible to give a gap. You can do in the morning and you can do the sa'i in the evening, but don't delay it on the next day. Next day is not permissible, but same day if you do it, it's okay. So these gaps you do, like, do you need to, can you do this gap? You can do eating, drinking, bathroom, whatever you can do, as long as you have done your taqsir. You can do anything permissible and then come back and do tawaf. You can do your salawat, mustahab tawaf. Question number 20. Is it permissible to stand on Marwa? Because Safa nowadays you can't stand, it's fenced. I mean, you can stand on the edge. You will see group standing there doing du'as, and they allow, because this is according to the narrations of Sunni school of thought as well, that stand on Safa and do some du'as. So they stand outside of the fence, obviously. So is it permissible to stand on Marwa to do dua or dhikr during the sa'i? Like while you're doing the sa'i, you are maneuvering a U-turn, you stop on Marwa and you leave that gap. You leave that gap between your continuation by doing dua and dhikr, as it is mentioned that it is permissible to stand on Safa. So it is permissible. He said there's no problem in that. You can stand. I mean, we said in the rulings, you can give a pause for resting, drinking water, whatever. So this is you're giving a pause on Marwa to perform these du'as. Okay, and this 21 was explained, 22 was explained, 23, if if a child, like this is one of another problems, that people, they make their children do enter the ihram. Now they're responsible that every single thing is performed by them, as you are a guardian, especially if it was a discerning child. Now you don't know, many parents, they don't know how do they na'udhu billah, perform their urination in the bathroom and the najasat and all this, and you bring a child which are not aware about the process of purification, and you put them into these kind of conditions. That guy, if his umrah is invalid, he'll be stuck in his ihram until the marriage time comes, and then he'll have to send somebody to do the tawaf and all these things on his behalf. So he said, okay, the question. So let's say he kept his child on the wheelchair, okay, and the child was exhausted, tired, nice, cool system, spiritual system. He slept. So is that going to harm the sa'i? For adult, we said it is going to affect the sa'i, okay? It is that area of sa'i is not going to be valid because he lost his control. You need to have a control to guide the wheelchair. When you want to stop, he stops. When you want to continue, he's under your control. So you lost the control. So for the child, he said, if it was a non-discerning child, like somebody who cannot distinguish good or bad, or those kind of basic things in good and bad, then it's okay. But if he was discerning, then it's problematic. What about somebody excuse me, what about if somebody delays his sa'i 2 days? He did the tawaf and sa'i, he did the tawaf and salatul tawaf, and after 2 days he performed the sa'i, unaware about the ruling that you should not leave a gap more than a day. Same day you do, yes, the gap is okay in same day, but not putting it next day. He was not aware about that ruling, unknowing the ruling. He says, if he was unintentional unawareness, okay, unintentional ignorance, that means he tried his best, he missed this ruling or something like that, he did not, nobody taught him this ruling, he attended the ahkam and masail sessions, then he doesn't have to redo the tawaf. If it was deliberate ignorance, intentional, he got these opportunities, he did not come to these opportunities to learn this ahkam. It came in his doubt, he never asked, all these kind of things which made him somebody who left himself deliberately in the state of ignorance about this rule. Then on the basis of obligatory precaution, he needs to redo the tawaf and salat tawaf and the sa'i. Sa'i not redo, because sa'i he has not done. I mean to redo the tawaf and salat tawaf and then do his sa'i, which was after 2 days. If somebody doubts after 2 days about his tawaf, after 2 days of his tawaf, if someone doubts after 2 days of his tawaf that did he do the sa'i or not, okay, so what will be his ruling? I don't know, did I do the sa'i or not after 2 days? Okay, so the time to do that gap time is gone. That muwala, the consistency between the tawaf and the sa'i, that means you do in the same day, not delayed on the next day, has gone. So this is on the basis of obligatory precaution, he should redo the tawaf and salat tawaf and then do the sa'i. Question number 26. Yeah, we have only 4 questions left. Whoever causes disruption in the muwalat, okay, whoever causes disruption in the muwalat, in the consistency or the continuity, in the rounds of sa'i, okay, without any excuse. So such as salat al-jama'ah, excuse, like salat al-jama'ah is excuse, he is doing the sa'i nice, calmly in spirituality, and then قد قامت الصلاة, قد قامت الصلاة, and now he has to freeze. Okay, so people are now in the mas'ah. When it's crowded, the whole mas'ah is packed with people offering salah in the crowded seasons. So now he's stuck there. He can't go. He can't go cross the people. Um, so will his sa'i be valid? He says the continuity and the consistency which is required in the sa'i is not something extra. Okay, um, such as sa'i is dependent on it. Okay, ليست أمرا زائد, such as the sa'i is dependent. Therefore, like in some cases, in some cases we mentioned in tawaf, it could be okay, but with certain conditions. So here the muwala is necessary. There is no way to depend on the validity of tawaf if the consistency is missed, even if it was out of excuse. Because the sa'i is flexible, tahara, this and that, not needed. So you don't have to go do the wudu in the middle, or like tawaf, or go purify, or this and that. It's just do the sa'i. Okay, so to consider muala um, as an extra part, okay, from the sa'i, uh, we can't consider the mualat an extra part from the sa'i. It is part and parcel of the sa'i. So it is inclusive as a condition of sa'i. So whenever we said there are conditions that build up the structure of an action, then if that, like wudu, if no wudu, no tayammum, tawaf invalid, the salat is invalid. So because it is part, though it is separate, but it supports the structure of the salat, the structure. He says here al muwalat supports the structure of the salah. If you miss it, you miss it. Okay, you have to redo the sa'i again. So he says that الموالاة على تقدير اعتبارها في السعي ليست أمرا زائدا عليه. Muwalat, the consistency, the continuity between the rounds, it is not, which is required, it is not an extra part that if you miss it, your sa'i will be correct. Rather, it is part, and it is a constructive part of the sa'i. That means if you miss it, you miss the sa'i, even if you had an excuse. بل هي كالمقوم, like like it's part and parcel of its construction. You know how the construction, everything forms a building. If you take out a part of that building, the building collapses. So this is like a pillar, like wudu in salah. Okay, it's part of that, the whole construction of sa'i. The muwala is that much obligatory that it forms the sa'i, that do not leave a huge gap between the rounds. So we cannot consider the sa'i correct if the muwala is, if the consistency and the continuity is missed, even if it was missed due to an excuse. Question number 27. Again, the same question about the sa'i. Let me see if there's something new. I will mention. Otherwise, uh, uh, we have done this. What is your ruling about the performing the sa'i in the newly extension area? The same thing on the right side of the safa. He says if it is proven to the person who's performing manasik, because it's a mawdu', it's an application area, it's a level of application. I mean, it's the area of application. My fatwa is right. Is my fatwa applied on it or not? That you have to check out. For me, no. If I was going to do sa'i there, say if Sayyid Sistani, it says that if I will not consider it, because to me it's not proven. But if it's proven to you and you're satisfied, because it doesn't have to do with the religious evidences, with the Quran or with the Hadith. All that religious evidence, ijtihad tells me it should be between the two mountains. Finished. Now, is that area between two mountains or not? For me, it's not. Like for me, Sweden moon is not sighted. For Najaf, moon is sighted. So you check if you have that evidences and testimonies which makes you intellectually satisfied that it is part of the new area. Bismillah. So he says that if a person is performing the Hajj or Umrah or Sa'i, even through the fatwa of some of the scholars, some of the jurists, mujtahideen, by having trustworthy testimonies. Now, this historian, was he trustworthy or not? That's a lot of big questions. Many historians, uh, you can't rely on them. Okay, so the whole idea is how much trustworthy the historian was. One marja might find out, no, he's trustworthy. Another marja might say, no, he's not trustworthy. Third marja might say, maybe I'm hesitant. Okay, then the application level is proven to one marja and not proven to another marja. So maybe one marja might not require the trustworthiness in the historian. Okay, he said, like, we're taking from Hamid ibn Muslim, a historian, Tabari, about Karbala and this and that. So we may not require, as long as it's professional and his professionalism in his area is strong and accurate, like the doctor, for example, then we may not. So some Maraja, they say, but Sayyidi Sistani puts testimony of trustworthy. So that's why for him to rely on those the testimony, historical testimonies, is problematic. من دون معارض, uncontested testimony, unchallenged testimony. So there's a testimony which says that yes, behind the Safa was bigger, okay, and or the mount was chipped out, those kind of things. But there are some historians, they say, no, Mount Safa was this much, whatever we have. So now this testimony is challenged. This testimony is conflicted. There are also rules. Who is more expert when it conflicts? We take the one who's more expert. Who's more trustworthy? We take the one who's most trustworthy. But when they both are equal, we can't rely on both of them. كلما تعارض تساقط. Both testimonies are equal. So it appears to say this Sistani Damadullah. That's why he's using the word mu'arid, uncontested. Okay. So if there were testimonies of trustworthy, number one, testimonies, number two, trustworthy, number three, uncontested by others who are saying against, or unchallenged by those who are saying against. That the whatever the Mount Safa and Marwa, okay, it was there before, it was extended, then it got chipped off. Okay, the way they extended the path, the mountains were extended sideways, but they got chipped off due to the construction. Maybe because there was not too much crowd and people they saw this is the amount where people they need. Nobody would go far away on that side from the Kaaba. People will do the sa'i as close as possible. Then this pathways was constructed. Before it was not, before it was road, it was market. You go through market and you arrive to Safa and you arrive to Marwa. Okay. Um, so I'm going to show you after this ruling how they have an image for that. Subhanallah. Uh, okay. So if the testimonies are trustworthy, uncontested, they declare, okay, that the mounts were extended sideways, okay, and they're inclusive to the newly extended area, or he got satisfied due to the satisfaction of some of the Ahl al-Khibra. So two ways. Marja, because they do a lot of critical thinking. So if you're satisfied with the satisfaction of the marja, fine. Or no, you are a historian and you know how to do critical thinking in finding, investigating. Or no, you found out some historian who were, you got your satisfaction from some of those experts in this area. Then that sa'i would be sufficient. However, if that is not proven, that means it's not proven that it's extension, and there's no satisfaction, intellectual satisfaction. وإن لم يثبت له ذلك ولم يمكنه and if it was not proven to him, and it was not he was not able to perform the sa'i in the old area, like nowadays everybody's coming this way, you go wrong side. Excuse me. So you are going where? Wrong side. If you're not able to go wrong side, like where people are coming from Marwa to Safa, you go in the old area. ذهابا لتخصصه الإياب. If you're not able to, because it has been specified only for coming only. Remember that maneuver. جاز له البدء من المقدار الأصلي من الصفا. He can start from the original area where you have Safa in your back, okay, and go downwards, and then go downwards a bit and then take right, okay. من المقدار الأصلي من الصفا ثم الاتجاه يمينا, and so you go down a little bit and then you take right إلى الممر الجديد, to the new area. And then when you come to Marwa, okay, yeah. So here, say the Sistan says, as long as you started your sa'i, giving your back to Safa, ولا يضره ولا يضر عدم استقباله عند التوجه إليها. And it will not be effective while going towards Marwa that you are facing the Marwa, because you're all the way on the right side, or in the right side of the Marwa. But as we said, when you come close to Marwa, maneuver yourself in a way that you're going to Marwa. So first segment and last segment, make sure that you have started from Marwa, Safa, and you are ending with Marwa. وأما مع عدم تمكنه من السعي في الممر الأصلي ذهابا وإيابا. Let's say if he is not able to do like that, to start from the Safa and to end towards Marwa. Like we gave you an example that there was a huge line from mountain to mountain, and all what you have to do, go back the mountain and come. And then again the Marwa back. So you will not be reaching front of Safa, and you will not be giving the back to Safa. Like you'll not be reaching back, starting from back of Safa, and you're not going to reach the front of Marwa. So you'll have to go around Marwa from backside. We showed you the example. Then he says it's not sufficient. Okay, وأما مع تمكنه من السعي في الممر الأصلي ذهابا وإيابا. وأما مع تمكنه من السعي فالأحوط لزوما تعينه وعدم الاجتزاء بالسعي على النحو المتقدم. Again, same like previous. If he's able to do the sa'i in the old area, which he said it's for people coming to Safa, but if you're able to go in there and do like that, and no problem would happen, and you are secured from the police and this and that, then it will not be sufficient to perform the sa'i the maneuver way, okay, starting from Safa and going straight and then maneuvering yourself to Marwa. then it will not be sufficient. So the whole idea is to try to do the sa'i in the old area. If there, let's say there are times there's no crowd, okay, and nobody cares about to go this or that, like 1 or 2 person goes like there, it is not going to bring attention. But if it was huge, heavy crowded, people, they start becoming annoyed, and it's just packed to pack, like in some of the Hajj days, like Eid day and 11th and 12th. Then it's going to cause harm to others, perhaps. And also, not just that, the harm to yourself, and they might complain, and they might so things happen sometimes. It's better to take precautionary measure, because if everybody starts following, say, the Sistani, and everybody starts to go that route, then there is going to be serious problems there. But if one person goes all the way to Marwa, and comes back from the old area, I've seen some people, they just go in this wheelchair area, because wheelchair area was where Safa was before. Okay, so they go in the wheelchair area, and they come out from the wheelchair area and do the normal area when coming back to Safa. But when they go from Safa to Marwa, they go, but it's still there. People are with the wheelchair, and you are wise guy, super Irfan, you super spiritualistic, super thing. You're going to mess up with their rounds and this and that. If it's empty, many times it's only one wheelchair guy, and you're able to. And one of, by the way, you can do your sai on the wheelchair. You don't have to be handicapped or someone who is disabled to use the wheelchair. You can just get this guy, okay, who 50, give him 200 riyals or 100 riyal, and he will do the sai for you in that wheelchair in the middle area. Then you are okay as well. Okay, so the wheelchairers are waiting for people to give them money, especially where there's no crowd. So khalas, do your sai between wheelchair, and you will be doing in the old area of Safa and Marwa. So basically, uh, this is something which, if you're able to do that, the wheelchair area is not crowded, and you can sit on the wheelchair and do your sa'i, and and tell this guy, wheelchair guy, see, if I come to Marwa, I'll just go by my foot a little bit extra. You wait for me until I come back, until I come as close as possible to Marwa. And in Safa area, I'll go all the way on the top, and then I'll come back. So if you do that, I'll give you some 50 riyals extra. And they will do that. These people are poor. Okay, those wheelchairers, they are very poor people. They would love to earn as much as money. So if you give him 200 riyals, they charge you 100 something, 150 something. So give them 200 riyal, and give them instruction that wait for me until, and he will wait for you, because he will not get his money at the end. So once you reach the Safa area, you say, I'll get out and go on the top, because they are not allowed to go further up. So you can do on wheelchair. You see, it's not, it's option. It's not like, oh, you must be, but to walk in that wheelchair area, that might bring a scene. Now I saw some one of the mu'minin, he has this stroller, you see, like, the elderly people, they walk on a stroller. So they allowed him to go and do the sa'i between the stroller, and in between he'll just sit down and just show that I'm a stroller guy. So walker, not stroller. I mean the walkers, you see. So so I mean, but like still, I mean, for me, like say these instances, if you're able to, is that your ability or no, not? You have to apply that or not. And season they differ. Crowds, less crowd, time to time. Like if you want to do the sa'i, mostly 7 a.m. till 10 a.m. it's almost empty, because that is the time where the breakfast are served in the hotels. So those people on the hotel, it will disappear, and there are very few people left. So this is one of the things that you can consider. I mean, if there's less crowd, you can just one person going from Safa to Marwa in that area, old area, nobody will bring attention. It's like the group, if they start to go and like five people and they come into observation and cameras, I mean, you will think, oh, did somebody whisper on me, or somebody like backbited, or the snitch, or rat or something? How did they know? There's so many cameras. If they see any weird movement, they will just come to you, and you'll be surprised. How did they know? You have all, you just look up here, you see all the angles, there are cameras. So just be careful not to harm yourself going there and coming. Maybe in too much heavy crowd, the camera might not spot you, but I would advise not to do that. Okay, it might cause you serious problems. So just do normal, or do it on the wheelchair. Okay. Yeah, so this is the thing, that if he is able to do in the original area, going and coming, then obligatory precaution, he must do that, unless he refers to another marja. And the way we said, that maneuvering U-turn kind of thing, it will not be sufficient. Okay. This was question number 27, which was a repeated one, by the way. Um, okay, question number 28. Um, Is it permissible for a person who's performing Umrah to complete his tawaf and do another tawaf on behalf of someone else? Okay, before he does the sa'i for himself, we said you can do tawaf, you can do whatever, as long as you do the sa'i in the same day. So is it permissible for a person who is performing Umrah, after he performs his tawaf, to represent someone else's tawaf, and then after that he does the sa'i on his behalf? He says it is permissible after performing the salat of tawaf, because the question did not mention salat of tawaf. If a person who is uh, um, if someone who is if a person who's performing sa'i complains of pain in his knees, so eat some can he get some tranquilizer pills, or those painkiller pills? Okay. So إذا كان الساعي يشكو من ألم المفاصل, if a person has problems in his knees, pain in his knees, he has he has he's facing pain, knee pain. Okay. uh, so if he eats those tranquilizing or painkiller pills, he will not require that someone uh, does the takes him to the sa'i. Okay. The question is this, like, should he be doing sa'i by himself, or someone else can carry him, because he cannot walk even by holding somebody. So if the painkiller can solve his problem, then is it obligatory upon him to take the painkillers? Okay. He says if it was not, if it was not harmful, because all these medications, whenever you ask Agha Sistani Damadullah, the answer comes if it was not harmful, because this painkillers, a lot of these medicines, they fix something, they damage something else. So if it's going to harm this painkiller, then no, if it was not harmful, if these painkillers were not harmful, then obligatory precaution, have those painkillers and do the sa'i by yourself rather than somebody carrying you. Okay. Now remember again, a question will pop up. Then you said just now wheelchair is optional, you can do wheelchair. Yes, you can do wheelchair optionally, you don't have to. But we are not talking about wheelchair which you are controlling it. We are talking about somebody carrying you on his shoulder. Okay. So that is the kind of situation we are facing. That if you were not because we mentioned previously that if somebody is able to do sa'i by himself, he must do by himself. So if and if somebody is doing the wheelchair, he can do the wheelchair by himself. He can borrow the wheelchair and pay this guy money, and or let the wheelchair guy be with him. But it should be totally under his control. Uh, this, but that case is the case of necessity to be carried on. Okay, but if you are able to assist somebody, that's fine. But to carrying, because he has pain in the knee, he cannot walk, so obviously it has to be carried. And if he is going to be carried, like yus'a bihi, somebody is going to carry him and take him in the sa'i. Okay, question number 30. In the rush crowded times, the basement, uh, we had done this before also, and it's repeated. Um, so when it is crowded, on the in the basement of the mas'a sa'i between Safa and Marwa, the authorities, they prevent you from coming to Safa until the glass fence area. وتلزمه الاتجاه نحو المروة قبل الوصول إلى الاسطوانة القائمة هناك. And it becomes necessary for him to take a U-turn before reaching the pillar of Safa. There's a pillar of Safa. After the glass shield, there's a pillar. So will that be correct? What does that mean? That means he's coming to, this is your Safa, this edge of this screen. Okay. So you're coming, here they stop you. Take a U-turn and go back because it's too much crowded. So I've not reached the Safa. So he says that إذا كان المكان الذي يصل إليه من جهة أعلاه لأوساط الجزء المصرح به في المسعى في الطابق الأرضي فالظاهر كفايته ولا بد من إحراز ذلك. He said if where you have been stopped, okay, is it parallel, because you are in the basement, is it parallel to the permissible area of sa'i on the top? Okay, on the top floor, that means the ground floor. This is basement, ground floor. Then it is permissible. However, you must find out this parallelship. It's your responsibility. The problem is, it's not like that. The down area, okay, you know, the mountain comes like this down. So the Mount Safa is here down. Up Mount Safa is here. Remember that slided area? So on the contrary, if he stopped before, then he is away from the Safa area, close. Big. He says, if, like, let's say if the mountain was like this, okay? If the mountain was like this, so what happens? You reached here, you are parallel to the mountain. This is opposite. So I think the question is, let's see the question again. في أوقات الزحام, in the time where there's crowd, في الطابق الأرضي, السرداب, basement, even this serdab, yeah, it should be opposite. It should be other way around. Okay, it should be other way around. It should be on the top floor, because the mountain comes like this. Okay, on the top floor they were stopped here and they were told to go back. So that means the mountain is still there underneath them. So that's fine. If it's like that, it works out well. But opposite, the mountain has to be like this, coming other side. So the questioner, um, in the crowded area, the lower floor, I mean تحت الأرض, the basement, okay, of the mas'ah. The authorities prevent the person who is performing sa'i in the side of Safa to reach the glass fence, and they are forced to take a U-turn towards Marwa before arriving to the pillar which is adjacent to the glass wall. Will that sa'i be correct? According to what I have seen, obviously the sa'i has become short. You did not arrive to Safa. So if you have not arrived to Safa, then it will be problematic. So the answer is, if the place where they were stopped is parallel to the middle area where the sa'i is permissible on the ground floor, not basement, then it is sufficient. However, you must find out this parallelship. Yeah, so it's a problematic issue here. That parallelship. First of all, who will go, unless if you have to go all those experts and Ahl al Khibra and those kind of things. Um, yeah, so this is something. Next, we have 7 rules about the wheelchair. The main theme of wheelchair is that it needs to be controlled. Today, our session was a bit longer because of that Sa'i's pillar and that maneuvering issue. Okay, he starts from the old area. He starts from the old area where the mountain is, and then he goes left. I mean, sorry, right. I have this problem with left and right. He goes right to the new extended area, and then it goes all the way, and then he starts coming there. So he doesn't have to face Marwa while he's going. He said that's fine. But when he comes there, you just take your turn, like start your U-turn a bit ahead, going like this way, and then you touch the Marwa and then come back down. So this is the thing that this is like, let's say this is your Safa mountain, okay? You start like this, and then you go straight. And when you come close to Marwa, you start taking your maneuver towards going to Marwa. So that is something which so took our time. وآخر دعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على محمد وعلى آله الطيبين